Gregory, on my word, we will not carry coals.
No, for then we should be colliers.
I mean, and we be collared, we'll draw.
Aye, while you live, draw your neck out o'er the collar.
I strike quickly, being moved.
But thou art not quickly moved to strike.
A dog of House of Montague moves me.
To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runnest away.
A dog at the house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's.
That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall.
'Tis true, and therefore women, being the weaker vessel, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore I will push Montague's men from the wall and thrust his maids to the wall.
The quarrel is between our masters and us their men.
'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be civil with the maids. I will cut off their heads.
The heads of the maids?
Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt.
They must take it in sense that feel it.
Me they shall feel while I am able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh.
'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor, John. Draw thy tool. Here comes two of the house of the Montagues.
My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will be back thee.
How? Turn thy back and run?
Fear me not.
No, marry, I fear thee.
Let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin.
I will frown as I pass by, and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as they dare, I will bite my thumb at them, which is disgrace to them if they bear it.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Is the law of our side if I say A?
No.
No, sir. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. But I bite my thumb, sir.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir.
But if you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as a good man as you.
No better.
Well, sir.
Say better. Here comes one of my master's kinsmen.
Yes, better, sir.
You lie.
Draw if you be men. Gregory, remember thy washing blow.
Part, fools! Put up your swords. You know not what you do.
What? Art thou drawn among these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio, look upon thy death.
I do, but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me.
What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee. Have at thee, coward.
Clubs, bills, and partisans strike. Beat them down. Down with the Capulets. Down with the Montagues.
What noise is this? Give me my longsword, ho!
A crutch, a crutch. Why call you for a sword?
My sword, I say. Old Montague is come and flourishes his blade in spite of me.
Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go.
Thou shalt not stir 1 foot to seek a foe!
Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained seal, will thou not hear? What ho! You men, you beasts, that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins. On pain of torture from those bloody hands, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave beseeming ornaments to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb your street again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me. And Montague, come you this afternoon to know your father's pleasure in the case. To old Freetown, our common judgment place. Once more, one pain of death, all men depart.
Who set this ancient quarrel you abroach? Speak, nephew. Were you by when it began?
Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours, close fighting ear I did approach. I drew to part them. In an instant came the fiery Tybalt, the fiery Tybalt, and his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance into my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds. Who, nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn, while we were in interchanging thrusts and blows, came more and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either part.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw him you did today. Right glad I am here, was not at this fray.
Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drove me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore, that westward rooteth from this city side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, which then most sought were most might not be found, being one too many of my weary self, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me.
Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. But also soon as the all-cheering sun should in the furthest east began to draw the shady curtains of Aurora's bed, away from light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must his humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
My noble uncle, do you know the cause?
I neither know it, nor can learn of him.
Have you impromptued him by any means?
Both myself and many other friends, but he, his own affections, counselor, is to himself. I will not say how true, but to himself so secret, so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud bit with an envious worm, ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the same. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as know.
See where he comes. So please you, step aside. I'll know his grievance or be much denied.
I would thou wert so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let's away.
Good morrow, cousin.
Is the day so young?
But news struck 9.
Ay me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast?
It was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
That not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eye see pathways to his will. What? Where shall we dine? Oh, me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. Here is much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep that is not what it is. This love I feel, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, Coz, I rather weep.
Oh, good heart, at what?
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to much mine own. Love is a smoke made with fumes of sighs, being purged a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed a sea nourished with loving tears. What else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, a persevering sweet. Farewell, my coz.
Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He is some otherwhere.
Tell me in sadness, who is that you love?
What, shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan? Why, no, but sadly tell me who.
A sick man in sadness makes his will, a word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I aim so near when I suppose you loved.
A right goods marksman, and she's fair that I love.
A right fair mark, fair Coz, is sooneth hit.
Well, in that hit, you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saint seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor that when she dies, with beauty dies her store.
Then she has sworn that she will still live chaste.
She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste. For beauty, starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me, forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thy eyes, examine other beauties.
'Tis the way to call hers exquisite in questions warm. These happy masks that fair kiss ladies' brows, being black, puts us in mind they hide the fair. He that is strucken blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read who passed that passing fair? Farewell. Thou canst not teach me how to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt.
But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike, and 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace.
Of honourable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride.
Younger than she, our happy mother's maid.
And too soon marred are those so early made. Earth hath swallowed all my hopes but she. She's a hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agreed. Within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest such as I love, and you among the store. One more most welcome makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads. Even such delight among fresh fennel buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Hear all see, and like her most whose merit shall be, which, on more view of many, mine being one, may stand in number, though in recting none. Come, go with me. Go, sirrah, trudge about through fair Verona, find those persons out whose names are written here, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. I must to the learned in good time.
Tut, man. One fire burns out another burning, one pain and lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy, and be helped by backward turning. Oh, despite grief cures with another's languish, take thou some infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Your plantation is excellent for that.
For what, I pray thee?
For your broken shin.
Why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and good fellow.
Good God, give good e'en. I pray, sir, can you read?
Aye, my own fortune in my misery.
Perhaps you have learned it without book, but I pray, can you read anything you see?
Aye, if I know the letters and the language.
You say honestly, rest you merry.
Ay, fellow, I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, Count Anselm and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Verruccio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline, and Livia, Signor Valentino and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lovely Helena, A fair assembly. Whither should they come up?
Up
Whither? To supper?
to our house,
Whose house?
my master's.
Indeed, I should have asked thee that before.
Now, I'll tell you without asking, my master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. Rest you merry.
At this same ancient feast of the Capulets, sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so loves, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattained eyes compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy saw a crow, swan a crow.
When the devout of mine eye maintains such falsehoods, then turns to fire. And these who, often drowned, could never die, transparent heretics be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love? The all-seeing sun ne'er saw her match since the world first begun.
Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid, that I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now seems best, or beast.
I'll go along, no such sight be shown, but to rejoice in the splendor of mine own.